Hi guys, welcome to Tales of the Aquarius. My name is Tammy and this is
Emmanuel.
And in today's video we're going to be giving you the tea. I mean literally everything that happened on the delivery day. Yes, on the
13th.
No, well, from the 13th leading up to. But yeah, we will be telling you everything that happened. So if you're new here, welcome to our channel. We're a Nigerian couple sharing our experiences and we live in Germany. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us.
And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe.
Now is the time. So obviously, if you are just seeing this video and you haven't seen the entire pregnancy series, then you might not relate to a couple of stuff. So it would be best for you to go back and watch the previous videos like first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, then come back and hear the tea.
Drink the tea.
I drink the tea. I come back and drink the tea. I don't know. I normally hear. I've never heard drink the tea before, but whatever. Okay. That would make sense. So, where do we start? Where do we begin? Are you going to start first?
So in the last video, you ended by saying that you had a lot of amniotic fluid, right?
Fluid, yeah.
So what does that mean?
Okay, so the medical term for that is polyhydramnios, which basically means that the person has more than, has a certain amount of deep pockets. Like, so you have a lot of amniotic fluid basically. And I tried to Google how much is a lot, but like from what amount to, but I didn't see. What I saw was just the measurement of the deep pocket. So, which basically means like the largest space between where the baby is and, like the end of the uterus or something. So I was able to see the exact amount, but yeah, I had that, which I never expected that. I think we found out about that in like the second trimester. Yeah. So it was like the end of the second trimester. That was when we found out that I had polyhydramnios, and that basically caused a lot of issues. So first of all, if you hear any sound in the background, yeah, that's the product of this conversation that we're having right now. So yeah, she's in the background and she might be making some tiny bit of noise. So yeah, back to what I was saying. So it caused a lot of issues, and that was of course one of the reasons why, if you notice in the third trimester, at the end of the third trimester video, it ended somewhat on a low note because I had to be put on bed rest for about 5 weeks.
And I cooked.
Yeah, he cooked. I had to be put on bed rest for 5 weeks because I had persistent contractions, which is a cause of, is it cause? What do you say cause? No. Which was due to a cause, which was caused due to, however you want to put it, the polyhydramnios. And there were different things they told us that it was going to cause. It was going to cause shortness of breath, possibility of a preterm labor, intense contractions, what else?
Difficulty
breathing. So these were the different things, and there was even also a possibility of a lot of bleeding due to expanded uterus. Another thing that polyhydramnios causes is very large bump, basically, because your stomach is bigger than it's supposed to be. Because
I just pictured, I remember how you were like huge.
Yeah, I had a really huge stomach, and it was because of the polyhydramnios, because I had so much fluid. And yeah, it was way more than the baby, let's just put it like that. So that was a lot. So these were the different things that polyhydramnios caused or could cause, and what were the things that I had in all this?
Well, before then, fun fact was that the first time I heard that you had a lot of amniotic fluid, the first time they said this was in the old apartment, so it was around first trimester. No. Yes. Because the first time she said it, the first time the doctor had said it, I was like, I think that's a good thing. I remember that statement, and I had initially thought that it was a good thing. So it's like, if you have more amniotic fluid, it means that you are healthy, you are drinking a lot of water. So initially I thought it was a good thing. But during the fan diagnostics that I found out that when the doctor had said that you have a lot of amniotic fluid, that's when I was like, okay, is this a bad thing? Is it something that we should be worried about? And then he now said some of the effects. But it's not that bad. It's just that you have to basically monitor it.
Yeah. Which of these things that he said did I have?
Well, very frequent contraction. That one is like,
Yep.
it was too much. For the difficulty breathing, I don't think you did.
Yeah.
I don't think you did. But then the bump, huge. What else did you say would be the effect?
Oh, they also said I was gonna have like I don't know if was it heartburn or something.
Yeah, but
I didn't really have that.
Yeah, that was why I didn't. Because it's basically pushing your organs up.
Yeah.
Remember, you even had that bump. You had a mini bump
Yeah.
here where all your organs went to go and
Yeah, and it was
squeeze themselves.
quite painful.
Yeah.
Actually.
But you didn't. The main things you had, contractions a lot, very painful.
Yeah. It was really painful. There was also the scare of the preterm labor. So if you have seen the third trimester video, then you would see that I was at the hospital for about 4 days. And I went to the hospital after I had like my maternity shoot. And that was because I was having like contractions. I didn't understand what it was. Like I would stand and I would have like 2-3 contractions from standing in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So I was then told that I shouldn't stand, which was the main reason why I was put on bed rest. But before they even gave me that don't stand stuff, it was like I had to first go to the hospital because I was really scared. We thought the baby was coming, and that was like 32 weeks. So it was like, okay, this is scary. Of course, 32 weeks is preterm. We even started researching all the side effects of having preterm and everything. We were just really scared. And then we got to the hospital. I was already dilating, and I had to be put on some medication to stabilize my cervix. And I was kept at the hospital for 3-4 days to be monitored and everything. They could see that I was having contractions, but it wasn't like regular or anything. So they were like, okay, you're safe. Your cervix has now stabilized, and then I could go home. So they sent me back home and told me to be on bed rest for the next 5 weeks.
And there was this test that they had done, but I can't remember the name, where they would check. So they check whether there has been any kind of leakage.
Yeah.
To know whether there has been or there will be in the near future a rupture of your
membrane.
Yeah.
Like
so she had passed the test, so the test was negative.
Yeah.
So it meant that at least for the next 2 weeks, I think the test covers about 2 weeks. For the next 2 weeks, you shouldn't give birth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still they give you the medication to sort of strengthen or stabilize your cervix so that she doesn't come early.
Yeah.
It's like hold
that still. And then so because of the polyhydramnios, I was then given an appointment for the very date that I was going to turn 37 weeks pregnant. I was given an appointment for a possible induction. So there were 2 things that could happen that day. Either I would be induced, or they would use like a really huge long syringe and they would take out about 2 liters of amniotic fluid, like basically reduce the amniotic fluid that I had. So this was what that appointment was for. But then the risk of that is that I could go into labor. So that could cause a rupture of membrane and I could go into labor. So the doctor was like, the best thing to do is to have that when I was full term, like even if it was just at the very mark, which is 37 weeks. So that was basically what, so we got that appointment, and then, what was the date?
Yeah, that was the 13th.
13th of what?
May.
I just needed to be sure you remember. Yeah, 13th of May. So what exactly does that day remind you of?
The next day she was born.
Oh my God. 13th of
Her
May.
birthday minus 1.
13th of May is our legal wedding anniversary. Which it was for me, it was such a coincidence that was.
But
like,
you didn't give me any gift.
Is that the point of this conversation?
So our anniversary just passed like that. Nothing. You didn't say anything.
Anyway, so it was wedding anniversary, like legal civil wedding anniversary, which was so weird because everything just happened, coincidentally. It was also the day that my dad got buried. So it was just like, okay, what a significant day to go to the hospital and possibly give birth. Mind you, before we went to the hospital, I had told my friends that this baby has to come today. That if we went to the hospital and they said, "Oh, you seem okay," and we just reduce the amniotic fluid and you go back home and possibly stay till 40 weeks.
You shout, "Hey!"
Exactly.
Like
I said I was going to go mad. Like, it would have turned from a gynecology case, childbirth case, to psychiatric case because I was not going to go home. That's how much pain I was in for 5 whole weeks, like constant contraction. I was sleeping in the living room. I would sleep and sit up, like I would sit up to sleep because it was that bad. I could not sleep. My back was killing me. If I lay down, it was just bad. If I lay down, I can have like multiple contractions in it was bad. So for me, it was like, I'm gonna hold on to that 37 weeks for the sake of my child.
It feels like you were even in labor for the 5 weeks.
Yeah, basically.
Because it was constant contraction.
Prodromal labor, where you're in labor for like, sort of like false labor for a long, extended period of time. So that was basically what I was going through for 5 weeks, like 5 whole weeks. No painkillers could help. Like, there was absolutely nothing. And the only painkiller I was allowed to take was paracetamol, which is like the most useless painkiller, but that's a conversation for another day. So tell us, what happened on the 13th of May?
So they said, they checked you, they said, oh, the baby is doing good. And of course, the fluid is a lot. Mm-hmm. And he said it was like 4 to 5 liters, right?
Yeah.
So,
and if you want to convert that, that's also 4 to 5 kg. So I had extra 4 to 5 kg. That did not include the placenta, it did not include the baby, it didn't include the fact that there was, of course, high volume of blood in my system. So I don't even know how much weight I was carrying that time. Yeah. It was a lot.
So everything looked good, and he was like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to go home and stay a couple of months, a couple of more weeks, or how exactly are you feeling? So depending on how you're feeling, then they would know what the next course of action would be. Yeah. So you already explained, like, the contractions were bad. We barely made it to 37 weeks. So so you now even said, okay, so we would induce. Do you prefer C-section, or do you want to go through like natural labor? And then you said you were going to at least try first of all, right?
Yeah.
So, they said, okay, they will prepare a room for you. I don't know why that made me laugh, but they prepare a room for you, and they're going to give you a test dosage, right? Like the initial small dosage to see how you would react to the induction pill. So, I think we have clips, right?
So pretty much this part was us going to the room to check in with our entire luggage, because there was no way we were going to come back home. So we had the entire luggage, and then we checked in. So obviously this is the part that you see. I can't actually believe I am here. Daddy to be, how do you feel?
I feel happy.
So we have checked into the room. There's a large stomach. The last stomach video for this pregnancy. So I can't believe it. Hello, Daddy to be. How are you doing? How do you feel? I didn't want to push it. I'm ready to push. Update. The IV line is in. Then we are waiting for the induction to start. Woo! Another contraction.
Don't shout at me now, please. I'm someone's daddy.
Very soon, but not yet.
She shouted at me to record. I don't know why. Why she shouted.
You're blowing the video.
She shouted at me to record, and I don't know why. They said that we should go to the first floor, and I don't know why.
You said Chrysler. What's Chrysler?
I beg you, that's not the video we're doing today.
What is Chrysler? They said we should go to the Chrysler. That's where delivery room is, young man. They give us the
pill.
After this part, they then give us the pill, and it was I drank it. It was oral pill, so I took it, and then they checked me. I was under observation, not supervision. I was under observation for a couple of minutes to check the contractions, to check her heartbeats, and of course my heartbeat and everything.
Someone is going through labor and she's still working. Madam, if I try to keep phone here.
There are no holidays.
No holidays?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we're sent back to my room, and they were told that we should come back for the second test. The second pill, not test anymore. The second pill in about 2 hours. So of course, you would then see what happened during the 2 hours that we were waiting. We're basically chilling.
I think anyone in their right
Daddy,
mind
are you
sleeping?
sleeping?
In their 20s.
Are you tired? Sorry.
So what was your upbringing like?
Sorry.
This is standard sport.
Yeah, so 2 hour mark, we went back. Okay, well, check us, let's know how far. So then they checked you, and they, of course, I think even before then, we had told them that the contractions were frequent and they were frequent and irregular.
Yeah.
So it was happening so much, but then it's not consistent. Sometimes it's a little bit smaller, but now this smaller was hard, right? Because before you had Braxton Hicks that I think we used to check the measurements. Maybe around 32 was high.
Yeah,
I think so.
This time was going up to like 60 something.
Yeah, and that was like the soft. That was the not so painful one. And then it happened continuously, and they were checking her at several times. I think maybe in the duration it happened maybe 3 times where our baby's heartbeat dropped, and when it drops, the doctor will just rush in. Everybody rushes in. They take her.
But this happened at the second time. Yeah, this was the second time.
But they didn't give you a second pill.
Yeah. So the second time, I didn't give me a second pill. We just went for them to check me.
Yeah. So this was after the 2 hours now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were checking you. They were monitoring the baby's heartbeat. Mm-hmm. They were checking the contractions. They could see that it was happening, and ideally, what should have happened was that they would have checked her, see that she's good, give her the next dose, and send her back.
Yeah.
But because of how frequently this thing was happening, they basically observed her from that point till the end. So she was in that room. They were checking the contractions. They would see the baby's heart rate would drop. They rush in. They'll give something. I don't know what it was.
There was some type of injection that was supposed to pause the induction for like 10 minutes. They said it was for my baby to rest because the contractions were too close and she did not have time to rest before the next one. That was why her heartbeat was dropping. So they gave me that one to pause it for 10 minutes. And they said the side effect was that I was gonna like have heart palpitations.
You were
Let
like,
me tell you.
Baby, I'm breathing fast. Baby, you're like this.
I was scared because
And I said, no, don't worry. The doctor said
he was just too calm. Because the thing is, yes, they told me like this injection, this is what's gonna happen, and then they gave it to me. But it's one thing to tell me, it's one thing to experience it. The very next second, my heart felt like it was coming out of my chest. It was pounding, and I was like, I lost it. I was really, really, really scared. But he was just like really calm. I was like, yeah, babe, that's what they said.
Don't
Like,
worry, I still love you.
I was
I
like,
tried to be calm.
it was like, come on, yeah, we know it's gonna happen. That was basically the reaction that I got from him. But yeah, so that happened like 2 times or 3 times.
I think about 3 times.
Yeah, so typically they were supposed to observe me for like 30 minutes. But then like every time this happened, they would then observe me for the next 30 minutes and then the next 30 minutes. So we ended up staying there from like, this was like 10 p.m. We ended up staying there till
About 12 a.m. where there was finally progress. What was the progress?
my water broke.
It means small, they would have brought canoe. They warned us that the water would be a lot. Like some people, when their water breaks, they said it would be so tiny.
Yeah.
But that yours would be a lot.
Yeah.
The moment it happened, it was like film. I was like, just. They started changing, like they were just changing sheets, changing continuously.
And you know the funny
how
thing,
long did this happen?
I don't know, for a while.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you short. The funny thing is, we knew it was going to be a lot, but we still did not understand to what level it was going to be. Like how much. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Like they changed the sheets, and then not the sheets. Like this, there's this. I don't know. I'll call it sheets, but like padded sheets that soaks up so that the water or whatever fluid doesn't go to the bed. We had a lot of that, and apparently they tell you when your water breaks, don't stand. You have to lay down. So, but for me, because of what I was feeling, I wanted to stand up like so it can pour out or something, but they didn't let me. Oh, now let's take it back a notch. How my water actually broke, I wanted to stand up to go pee. Or I wanted to stand up. I don't remember if I wanted to pee or something, but I sat up, remember?
Yeah,
and I wanted to stand up from the bed. And right when I don't know, like, I always wondered how people knew that their water would had broken. But I experienced it myself because it was like, I stood up, or I sat up, and I was like, I think my water just broke. So that was, it just felt like something is about to happen. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like I just lost control of my pee, and my pee was about to just pour out, but I felt like a tiny sensation first to tell me it's coming. So I was like, I think my water just broke. I said it, but then in my head I'm like, maybe it's not it. And I stood up. The very moment I stood up, it was like a whole tap. And it just kept gushing, and they were like, oh no, like lay down, and then they put the sheets, and then they had to keep removing. Like it was like when you lift the sheet, you have to lift it like you're carrying a bowl of water, because they soaked the sheet, and there was still like water still left in it. So at some point it basically soaked the bed so bad that we could no longer be in that room, and then we had to move change delivery
to a different
room.
delivery room.
Yeah.
So in the second delivery room, what happened? Your water has broken. What did you feel any different?
So the second delivery room, that felt like this is where I would give birth. I don't know why. The first delivery room was smaller.
The first delivery room was a bit empty.
Yeah.
The second one had the
bathtub. Yeah.
So it already tells you children have been born here.
The first delivery room had just the bed. The
And
second
then
one,
ball,
even the betting ball was inside I could
locker.
see it, but it was inside like a wardrobe or something.
Mhm.
So I didn't even use it. Then the second one was bigger. It had the bathtub, and then it had the stuff where you hang your legs, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
on the bed. The other one did not have it. So it felt like, okay, this is like an actual delivery room, if that makes sense. So when we got into that room, they told me to walk. I remember, like, I stood up, like, because they asked if I could, and then I walked into the next room.
So what they said was, after taking this induction pill, that you should try to move around. So like moving around would help sort of initiate this labor and the contraction, and it will help.
Yeah.
The problem was that normal delivery goes from up to down, so slow up, like large interval contractions.
And then
Yours was sharp. It's like you were already in the active labor phase when you were not in active labor.
Yeah.
So your contractions were very short, but then you were not consistent. Like if it is every 1 minute, every 2 minutes, yours was very irregular.
So that was basically the problem. It was irregular but frequent. But frequent. So I was having a lot, like some would be short, some would be longer, but it just kept going. And then, so then we got to this room. Obviously, at this point, this felt like, okay, there is some sort of progress, because the contraction became even worse. It felt like, I don't know, like the best way for me to explain this thing, I mean, I've never been mad before. But the best way to describe this was like madness was about to start. Like, I don't know, it would go from, like, the way it was happening, the best way I can actually explain labor pain to anybody is like, you feel it coming, you're like, it's coming. I know I'm about to feel pain, And then there's like a very hot, sharp pain that just goes through the roof. And it's like you just want to scream at the top of your voice. And then next thing, it just starts going down. You're like, okay, I'm done. And then the same thing happens, it goes through the roof, and then it's like it starts to come down. That was basically what was happening. But then I felt hot, because the pain felt hot. And it just like, I would be like, okay, I was telling myself, I can manage this. Like when it starts, I'm like, okay, I'm holding on. I'm not going to scream, I'm not going to move, I won't do anything, I will just stay calm. Because they'll tell you things like, in betting class, they'll tell you stuff like, oh, stay calm, breathe. There was in the time where I was like, I'm not even going to do the breathing technique because I can manage this. When you reach that side, only me. Oh, nobody told me to do the breathing technique. It was really painful. Like,
there was something we even forgot to mention about the difference between when your water had not broken and after. Do you remember how soft and small your stomach became?
Instantly,
immediately,
the moment
like it
my
just became
water
soft.
broke, we were so shocked at the difference in the size of my
huge.
stomach. It was I don't know.
It was huge.
The difference was a lot.
Yeah. So it was becoming more increasingly painful, and then every time we'd feel like, oh, it's seeming regular, or it's seeming too painful that the baby may be here. The midwife would say, okay, let's check if there's progress. So they would check, and then we see the result before we are told. How did you used to see the result?
Like there was such, I don't know, some disappointment in their eyes. Because
Let me do it. So the midwife would go. She'll say, okay, let's check. They would put hand. They would check. She'll not come out like this. I didn't even get it. Like she'll be like.
And then they have to try to calculate it, acting like it's such a hard thing to
when they're saying no, like this, there is no time. I'm now like, okay, but at least there should be progress, because we've been there for like
hours.
This is maybe 2-3 a.m., right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what is the progress? It's not time, or she's not yet in active labor, but what is the progress?
For me, it was like, how many cm dilated am I? I had watched so many like birthing videos, and I know that, okay, you go from like 1 cm, 2 cm, 3 cm, 4 cm, and then you get to 10 cm and it's time to push.
But when does active labor start? Is it not when it's consistent? Is it not when the contractions are consistent?
Yeah, and then you're dilating.
Yeah. So, okay, maybe she was, but she was not regular.
But active labor also, like my water has broken, so basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the So now at this point, for me, what I wanted to hear was like, what is the difference in the dilation? How many cm dilated am I? But every time they checked, after every 1 hour or 2 hours, I would hear 1 cm.
See how they said
1
that
cm.
my finger cannot really enter. That was how she was like.
And
Oh
that
my
was
God,
very
God.
disappointing because the
For
pain that I
hours.
was feeling definitely did not seem like a 1 cm dilated pain. It felt like I was waiting to get to 6, 7.
In fact, that
how
was
it
1
felt.
cm then. I wonder what then. Well, again, yours was. It's like you started at the deep end,
Yeah.
and you've been having this steady pain and frequent contractions from, like again, since 5 weeks
5
ago.
weeks.
And then when they induced, it now became worse.
Yeah.
When your water broke, it became
Even
worse.
Yeah.
So we basically continued like this for hours. I don't know if you remember what time, and maybe I recorded the clock.
Yeah. I think as at this time, no, as at this was even. I think at about 8 a.m. So this was like 8 hours after my water broke. At about 8 a.m. or even like 9, I don't remember, one of them. No, 8
Yeah, I think
a.m.
maybe 8,
Around
7,
8, about 8 a.m. I was done. Like I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I was really tired.
And
I
you were
was
still at.
dehydrated.
Okay, at this time you were 1.5.
1.5, but what is that? I was dehydrated and everything, and then I had to ask them that, you know what, can we not just do CS and get this baby out? Because I was in pain, I was tired, and it had been so long.
Yeah, like.
And I wanted
were-
to sleep because, of course, this whole thing started
You
from
had
like
not
10
eaten
p.m.
too.
I had not eaten, I had not slept.
Yeah, and the question is, like, even for me, it sounded logical. It's like, if she has gone through all of these and she feels the way she currently, or at the time she felt, and she's still at 1.5, and then, 1.5 at the early stage is when it's still long. They say it gets faster as you grow.
It's stressful.
So if after all of these things she's still at 1.5 and she was tired, like I could see it, she was tired, there's nothing you can do. Like you can't even withstand the pain of the labor, let
Yeah.
alone waiting to start pushing.
Yeah.
So it was bad. So you
Yeah.
asked the doctor, and
So I told him basically, like, call the doctor, I want to get this baby out and I'm opting for CS. And you called the doctor, and then the doctor came and they started speaking English. Please, what was the English they were speaking?
is it what he said when you told him you wanted to?
Yeah, when I wanted CS, what did the doctor say?
Yeah, but he said something I liked though. He said that he can do CS anytime. So if he wants to do the CS now, easy. But that he would advise not to do it until they've exhausted every other option. So
Yeah.
that we should try everything else. Let's try medication, try epidural,
Yeah.
and if in the end it doesn't work out, then he can just do the CS anytime. And of course that they're monitoring the baby's heart rate. So if there's any kind of risk to the baby or to her, that they would do the CS. So what he was saying was maybe try the epidural first.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are worried, just know that if you want to do CS, you still would take the epidural. So if you are already considering CS, then maybe just take the epidural, and then let's try to like
Let's
see what happens. And the midwife did something too that was sort of, let's try this out, where they gave you oxytocin, right?
Yeah, so it was together. So what they now did was they decided that they were going to give me both epidural and oxytocin. So oxytocin is to quicken the not quicken the dilation, quicken the contraction, because oxytocin is basically a hormone that your body also produces that, but obviously my body wasn't producing enough to make the labor that fast, and then or the progression that fast. So they said they were going to give me both oxytocin and epidural, so that I could at least sleep for 2 hours, because I was just like, I need to sleep, I'm tired. So can I get something that at least I can rest for 2 hours so that I can then have the energy to continue. So they said, okay,
From
they were
1.5.
gonna give me epidural, and oxytocin. But before they even gave me, there was a whole process. Like I think 2-3 doctors came in, speaking English, talking about what they can, like what's the
You signed documents, you signed your
documents,
life.
everything.
Did you read the document?
How can I see? Could I see? I couldn't see. I didn't read anything. But they told me everything, like side effect, blah blah blah. Asked if we had like hip pain in the family, blah blah.
You know,
blah.
they actually gave me the form to fill.
Really?
Yes. And the form, I think the form was in German.
No, there were 2 forms. There was one that I filled and there was one that you
The
filled.
one they gave me now, they gave me form, Sha.
Yeah.
And this thing was in German. I carried translation app. And I started translating, and even translating the things there, I'm seeing things I don't understand. But I wrote my name, your name and age and what. And I just wrote those basic things. Then the doctor now saw me, I was like, I know, like, she knows that you can't feel this, so let her ask, and then she would fill it out. So she was just asking the questions, and when she answered, she would just fill
on the form.
what she said.
Yeah. So they, after we finished signing all this stuff, they told me to, like bend my back and then in a certain position, and then they were going to give me the.
And you know how, like, you remember how serious that thing was? Like, a group of doctors came in, and they basically set up the environment, like disinfect your back and all those things, tell you how to stay and blah blah blah. Then when they set everything up, they were also putting on their full attire.
Yeah.
But then the surprising thing was that they were not the ones that actually did the actual incision or whatever they do for the epidural. It was another doctor that just came in. He didn't do anything. He didn't even really talk to us. I think he just.
Anyway, I didn't see it because I was back in there.
And he just went there, put the stuff, they wore the thing on him. He just went there straight to the back, did the thing he did. When everything was right, they were telling you to do something.
Yeah, that was also what I wanted to say. So when they told me to after they finished doing it, they then said that, like, told me to stay, like, still, don't move. Now imagine not moving when you're having a contraction. It was really bad. And then they now told me, the lady said, if you feel dizzy, let us know, right? And I'm like, okay. And then in like few seconds, I was having a contraction. So obviously, I'm supposed to stay still. So I was just there and then holding on. I think you were in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
You were in front of me. So I was holding him to like go through the contraction. And then the lady was like, she started calling my name. She was like, Frau Okara, Frau Okara. And then I wasn't responding because I was in pain. And they somewhat panicked because they thought I was feeling dizzy.
They panicked twice.
Yeah.
Because the second time they panicked was when they were done. And they said something. No, there was something that they asked you, and there was a response you gave that they didn't understand. They misunderstood your response. But I can't remember exactly what they asked you. But when you responded, they were like, "Are you feeling this way?"
Yeah, that was what they told me about the dizziness.
Yeah, but
then
you
I was going through the contraction, so they were sort of trying to ask me like, how was I feeling? But then I was having a contraction, so I didn't respond. Okay. I just nodded my head, but then they couldn't really get what I was saying because, of course, I was weak and I was nodding my head like slowly. So
because I remember I had to tell them that no, it's contraction.
They was like, and they were like, okay, because they wanted to revive me or something. Yeah. But because you were in front of me, I then like told him to like talk to them because I couldn't talk at that point. He then told them, oh, like she's having a contraction. So they then relaxed.
And then after they gave you the epidural, they stayed there for a while to really monitor you. Like they checked you, they were watching, and then it was like, okay, you're good. So
and then they left.
You have 2 hours.
2 hours.
You better get strong.
They said I have 2 hours to sleep. So this was like about 10-ish. And then I slept. So now this is the funny part because I was basically sleeping. I was having a good time. My head, I have 2 hours, right? Sleep and then start. And then the next minute, so I could still feel contractions happening, but now it wasn't painful. So I could sleep through it. Like I was somewhat like conscious, if that makes sense. So I was conscious enough to know that I'm feeling contractions, but not painful, not too painful that I had to wake up, to react or anything. So I was just sleeping through it. And then the next thing, there was like this whole force. That's what I would call it. There was a force in my entire body that felt like a different type of contraction. Now this contraction was one that I hadn't felt before. It just felt like a gush, like some serious force that was pulling down in my body, and I could not control it. So it's, I mean, for anybody who knows Kegel's exercise, that feels like you're, holding in, or let's say you're trying to hold poop, let's put it like that. I was trying to do that because it felt like something was pulling out of me, but it wasn't working. So this was now a different type of contraction. And then I woke up out of it, like it sort of forced me to wake up. And then I told you, what did I say? I was like,
I'm feeling contractions.
I'm feeling
but
it
it's
different. Yeah, I'm feeling contractions, but it's different. And then we waited. It happened again. And then I was like, call the midwife, because in Germany, basically, midwives are the ones that attend to the beds. So it was like I told him, call the midwife, and then it happened one more time before the midwife came in. And what happened?
He said, okay, I've been checking, it's still 1.5, well, let me check again. She put hand, and then she now started smiling. And mind you, at this point, everybody's tired. When she checked, she smiled. And when I saw the smile on her face, I was confused, like, what is funny? And then she now said that she doesn't understand how or why, but she can already feel the baby's head.
Yeah.
So she was basically touching the baby's head.
And you didn't, there was this part she said that I liked. I don't know why I liked that statement. The first thing she said was, your body just did magic. I can feel your baby's head.
I didn't hear
and
that
it was like, I had 2 hours to sleep. I've only slept for 1 hour. And you're telling me you're feeling the baby's head. How? From 1.5 centimeter dilated.
And so she said, after seeing it, she said, your baby will be here within 10 minutes, right? Or 15 minutes.
Within 10 minutes.
So she now called the other midwives to come and help. And at the same time, like, you were already feeling these contractions you couldn't control.
Yeah.
So at certain times when it comes, like, you're pushing, and she's telling you, like, don't push yet. And you said, well, I'm not
She
pushing.
didn't say I shouldn't push.
Are you sure? I thought she
so
said.
what happened was, she said, when it happens again, like, start pushing. But then it was like, there was no time to tell her it's happening or something. I already started pushing before she could even organize herself.
So it's like she was trying to prepare for the birth.
Yeah.
But your body is already doing it.
It was already doing it.
So, yeah, so what did she do, sir?
She then, like, put my legs on the stuff on the bed and then told me to stay on my side. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh, you stay this side, you push one time, and then you turn to the other side. So I stayed on one side, and then I pushed, I think, twice until her head came out. And then she now told me to turn.
I still remember when I could
first
only
told
see
me
the
to
crown
touch.
just here.
She told me to touch.
Yeah, to
I
give
was
you
so
motivation.
Scared. I was like, no. She was like, yes, touch. You feel your baby's head. I was like, okay. Then I touched.
There were like 3 phases there. The first phase was when you could touch the head.
Yeah.
Then in one of your push, the head actually came out. Mm-hmm. And the head was just
stuck there. Then they now told me to turn to the other side to push out the body. So I think so that to like help her engage.
Yeah, it's like gravity would pull from, because it's when it comes down, it goes this way, they turn it and bring the other way.
And then that was basically what I did. And then I pushed, I think, twice again, and then like her entire body came out.
Almost, baby,
yeah,
almost.
A little bit more. Very good. Very
almost
good. Very
all your
good.
strength.
Big space up here.
Did it end?
Ooh, very good. And now you breathe.
You're doing really well.
Everything.
Really well.
Do you want to come to my side again and put it? Keep on pushing. Very good. Very good. Very good. And again and again and again. Very good. Very nice. Yes.
She's out. Baby, she's out.
Breathe.
Baby, she's out.
Breathe.
Her head is out.
The baby's head is out.
Her head is out, baby.
Okay.
Her head is
Do
out.
you have the red button somewhere? Because
Red. Yes.
Wir brauchen bitte einen Arzt zum Boot und die Kinderärzte. Breathing. 11:12. The baby's head is out.
Yes.
And we wait for the next contraction. Breathe in. And we wait for the next contraction.
You are done already. You are done, baby. You've done it.
Very good.
Is here?
Is it here?
Yes.
Okay. Then push down. Very good. And
She's out.
breathe. Don't push anymore. Don't push anymore. Look at her. Oh God! Look at her. She's good. Jesus. Look at her.
Really, baby.
Very good. Hello, baby. Ja, bitte. Aber ist alles in Ordnung? Nein, VSD und VSD.
Baby, you did it, baby, you did it.
Ja?
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Wo ist Lukas
You
denn?
did it, baby, you did it.
Deswegen fragt, wo alles sind.
Und ich konnte da nicht viel.
Ja.
Wo do I cut here?
Ja.
Here.
Aber ich kann nicht sehen. Ja.
I come, baby. Oh my heart.
So our baby was born on the 14th of May at 11:13 a.m.
Yeah. It was hard.
Ooh.
It was hard. Like my respect for pregnancy in general.
Oh, and then immediately after I gave birth, you then cut the placenta, which obviously they are seeing now, and then she also cut the cord, no placenta, cut the cord, and then they also brought out I pushed out the placenta, and then they showed me. They said it was like a love shape. Why my placenta was like that?
And they're like veins.
Yeah, so it sort of had a somewhat of a love shape, and then after that they then said, okay, so now we have to check you for any tear, and then they just God, women are being defiled every day in delivery rooms. They just did this, and she was like, oh, no tear, like nothing, all good.
So mind you, we went from 1.5 all the way to delivery in 1 hour,
In 1
basically.
hour. It was
And
crazy.
it was like the alternative would have been a C-section.
Yeah.
So imagine what the recovery would have been like. Imagine it would have been bad.
Yeah, but yeah, this is basically our story and my labor and delivery experience with our first child. If you've gotten up to this point in the video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.